Good morning, sir.
Good morning, everybody. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
So, how was your last 2 weeks? Hello, students. Hi, Sweta. So can you please check whether the students are joining? I will wait for another few minutes for the students to join in.
Okay, sir.
Hello, good morning, students. So I will wait for another couple of minutes for other students to join in, and then we will start the session. Hi, Ajit. Hi, Ajil. Hi, Ed. You can unmute yourself and let me know what are you currently studying. I will wait for another minute and then we'll start. So,
Yes, sir.
Okay, students. So good morning. So we have gone through about what is Industry 4.0. We have gone through what is artificial intelligence and what is IoT. And currently what you are seeing around the world, there are basically dynamic changes that are happening, right? You have seen there has been a major turmoil in the African nation, and there has been a military coup, and in Niger, there has been a politically, they have basically changed the regime, right? And nearby all the countries like Mali or other areas, in fact, there are a lot of global turmoil is happening. With the Russia-Ukraine war, what we are seeing already, there is a major crisis that is coming in the form of natural resources, because Russia is one of the major exporter of oil and gas. And also, Russia and Ukraine itself account a huge export of agricultural goods. In fact, almost 30% of global wheat export are done by these two countries. You may think why we are talking about the geopolitics of global affair, because that also going to impact to you and all of us in the coming days. If we do not understand what is the geopolitics or basically global affair that is happening around us, then you will not be able to understand what are the new trends or mega trends that are coming. Now, coming to this, as you can see, what has happened, the Europe nations or the NATO, they basically stop importing oil and gas from Russia. They were planning to have a major oil pipeline from Nigeria passing through Niger to basically the Europe. And also, Niger was a colony of France, so they were importing at very, very minimum price the natural resources like uranium and other rare earth material. And also this pipeline that is going to pass through the Niger, they were going to import the oil, crude oil, and natural gas from the African continent. Now, with this kind of a geopolitics that is happening in Africa, right, the turmoil that is happening, what we are going to see is that already the Saudi Arabia and the OPEC countries has cut production of the crude oil. And already, if you see the global oil prices, the crude prices, we generally determined by the Brent price, at already around hovering around $86 per barrel. Right. So what we are seeing is that there are going to be a huge increase in our cost of living also going to get impacted, because as you know, the oil and gas is basically one of the determinant on the increase in the price, right? If it goes up, automatically your purchasing power decreases, because you need to, the prices of the goods and commodities will go up. And what will happen is that you will see inflation around the world. And with the inflation, what will happen is that the companies will be able to sell less goods and commodities, because with the increase in the price, right, the purchasing power of the people will decrease. Now, with this, what is going to happen is that we are going to see a major recession that is going to happen also in the world. So in Q3 and Q4, right, starting with this kind of global dynamism that is happening. Now, as you know, France is a major producer of nuclear power, right? And basically for nuclear power, you need uranium. They were importing the uranium from Niger at very, very less price. Now, with this kind of already the oil pipeline that was supposed to come from the African continent to the Europe is getting blocked because of the Niger issue. And also they stopped importing the prices of the crude from Russia. And the OPEC countries decreasing the production rate. What we are going to see is a rally into the prices of crude oil. And as you know, this is also, you may think, what is happening around the world? Why I'm going to bother, right? I'm staying in India. Now, think of India. It imports 80% of the requirement of the crude oil. And if there is an increase in the prices of the crude oil, what will happen? India has to pay a higher price for the crude oil. And that will result into the outgo of our forex and also going to impact our GDP. And also what will happen, it will basically impact a price rise in India, right? So you're going to see a big, basically the growth, what we were expecting in India, it may come down. And of course, that will impact our cost of living. The most important thing is basically the job market, right? Now, with this, as you can see, the war that happening in Russia and also in Ukraine. And also it can spread to the African continent, right? Because the France or the European NATO nations, which were the colonies were in Africa, now they are stopped basically trying to have the relationship with the European countries, right? And they also do not want to forego these countries or basically the at the cheap price they were getting the raw material. Now, you must be thinking what is happening also in Europe, right? Now, you must heard of basically there are issues that are happening in so also into the Belarus, right? So there are basically what is happening is that in Russia they hired basically kind of private military, right? So anybody of you can tell me the name of that private military which they hired? Hello, students. Hello, students. So are you aware what is happening in the Poland border and Belarus? Yes, student. Hello, students.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so what's happening in Belarus and Poland? Any idea what's happening there? Yes. Are you aware what is happening? What's happening there? You know, heard of the name called Prigozhin? Hello, students. Because these are very, very important for you to understand what is happening around the world. Because when you go and join a company or start your own enterprise, right? You need to know what are the things happening and what make changes in your application of IT. Now, he is basically, Prigozhin is basically head of the Wagner Group. That is the private military army of Russia. Already the African nations, some of them are requesting basically to send the Wagner Group in the African continent. Of course, that you can see there is a turnaround, and this Niger or some Mali or those countries, right? They were basically colonies of France and other European countries. Now they are turning to pro-Russia. So we can see the war getting extended. Similarly, there is in basically western part of Russia, beside Poland and Lithuania, there is a small Russian area that is called Kaliningrad, that is separated from mainland Russia. And there is basically a gap that is called the Suwalki Gap, right? So it is around 100 kilometers. And what we are seeing in Belarus is that the Wagner Group, some mercenaries are called, or this private army is moving towards the Belarus border, which basically it's towards this Suwalki Gap. So we can see a lot of tension already happening over and above Ukraine in Lithuania and Poland. Can be war can get extended. Now, with this kind of a scenario, what is happening? The global market already going through a major crisis with the Russia-Ukraine war, where we see the prices of crude oil already going up, the food grain prices already basically a crisis happening. You must heard that India has already put a ban on export of non-basmati rice. Now think of the farmers who were getting extra money by exporting this rice would not be able to export those because the domestic market India need to provide. Because the rise in the prices globally, what will happen that if India cannot feed its own people and try to export, there will be a big problem in India. Right? So you can start thinking how global impacts is impacting our life also. We were exporting wheat also last year. In fact, we stopped exporting wheat also. So slowly India, though produces huge quantity of agriculture product, the first and foremost is that we need to feed ourselves. We are a huge population, right? It's more than 1.3 billion people. So only when we can feed our own people, we can surplus, we can export around the world. Next, what you see is that if the war extends to these countries, right? If it goes to Lithuania and Poland, if Russia want to safeguard its own territory in Kaliningrad, what will happen? The war will expand to the other European nations. And once that happens, it will be a big economic crisis, right? And if there is a big economic crisis, then what we're going to see is that the companies will start investing less on IT. The whole investment will come down. And that also going to have an impact. So they will want the IT services at a lesser cost. So there are some pros and cons to this. I will talk about the positive side now. Now, this will basically influence those companies to outsource a lot of work to basically low cost countries like India. And of course, they're going to ask for more of automation, more of AI, more of ML, so that the repetitive works can be reduced. The manual interventions can be reduced because they want to have the IT services at later cost, as less cost. And that actually provides a lot of opportunities for all of you. So as you can see, there are global turmoils and global issues that are happening. You should be aware of, because as you can see, that also helps in advancement of technologies. You have seen the drone warfare, how that has got changed, right? Before, in fact, we can see the first major drone warfare that happened between Armenia and Azerbaijan, where basically the Turkish drones actually defeated the Armenian army, and which really helped Turkey to start exporting a lot of drones. And then basically all the countries would understand why drones are very, very important and critical. They don't want to put the humans in front of the war. They can use the drones, and with that, they can defeat the enemy. In case of Russia and Ukraine war, you have seen initial wartime. It was basically the Ukraine were attacking Russia with a lot of drones. But now what we're seeing is that Russia with the Lancet drones and other drones, right? They're able to attack basically Ukraine, and they're doing a devastation of the Ukrainian defenses. Of course, if you see in the Russia, there are basically some areas in the world you will find that Ukraine is not able to use much of drones because Russia is basically working on the anti-drone tactics. They have developed kind of a software by which they're not allowing the drones to operate. So you can see now how the global changes are happening. With this, not only the drone technology is increasing using AI, how to defeat the other opposite countries' systems. Another side, they're also developing a system how they can prevent the drones to enter their area. In case of India, you can see huge investment is happening into the drones also and drones technology. We have just basically, if you see the last month, we have signed a huge contract, almost a $3 billion with USA for the Predator drone. And also there are multiple such drones Indian defense is acquiring. Some are the drones for basically kamikaze drone. That drone can not only do the surveillance, they can go and attack and destroy themselves. Some are basically drones used for carrying the goods and services, goods for the army or the defense people. You can see nowadays there is also kind of warfare that is happening with autonomous tank or autonomous basically soldiers going to the front and they're fighting rather than soldiers going and fighting. So kind of a change in the technology like robotics into the defense that are coming up. So with this, I just wanted to let you know that with the change, what is happening around the world that are going to impact and new technologies are going to come. And you need to adapt for that. Similarly, in case of USA, you are seeing there is a major bank crisis is happening. One after another bank is falling apart. And with that, financial market is also in the turmoil in USA, right? So with this, I will start and share my screen. And before I start, let me know if you have got any questions. Yes, student. Excuse me, ma'am. I'm not able to share my screen. I think you have to give me the access for sharing my screen. Hello, ma'am. Hari Lakshmi, ma'am, or Sweta, ma'am. Can you give me the access to share my screen? Hello. Hello. Hari Lakshmi, ma'am, or Sweta, ma'am. You have to give me the access to share my screen. Hello, student. Are you able to see my screen? Hello, students. Are you able to see my screen? Hello, students. Are you able to see my screen? Are you able to hear me? Hello, are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Okay, now I will just come to some of the areas where basically AI and IoT are helping in today's world. As you know, still in India, we have got huge amount of population still engaged in agriculture, right? I want to start how basically the industrial application of IoT can help the farmers. So there are numerous IT applications in farming, such as collecting down data on temperature, rainfall, humidity, wind speed, pest infection, and soil content. Right. So this helps the farmer to have better knowledge. What is the soil content? Which kind of agricultural crops they can grow? What is the pesticide they can use? Right, to get the optimum product from the cultivation. Also, depending upon how much of water the land has got, the content it has got, how much of water they need to use during the cultivation session, right? So based on that, they can have an optimum production of the agricultural crops they want to sow. This data can be used to automate the farming techniques, take informed decisions to improve the quality and quantity, minimize the risk and waste, and reduce the efforts required to manage crops. Right? For example, the farmers can now monitor soil temperature, moisture from far distance, and even apply IoT acquired data to precision fertilization program. Now think of our agricultural land, right? You're sitting in Bangalore, maybe in some places in Karnataka, you've got a remote places, your agricultural land, right? Now you can use IoT, and with the device, you can basically start your sprinklers. Now, when you can see basically how much is the content of the water in the soil and which part of the agricultural land has got less water, you can basically direct your sprinklers in that area to have water, right? And also how much of water is required. Based on that, you can basically use your water for the land, right? Similarly, you can use kind of a drones to spray basically pesticides, right, into your agricultural land so that you don't have to go and walk through the fields and put the pesticides in your agricultural land. So you can see sitting in Bangalore, you can, for example, you can have your cultivation, monitor your cultivation, right? You can have basically cameras and check how much of the crop, how the crop is growing, and when it is basically the crop has matured, you can get them cut and then you can send it to the market, right? So with this kind of automation, you are reducing the number of human effort and also the labor work, right? And with this, you are trying to get the optimum output. Isn't it, student? Yes, student. Hello,
Yes, sir.
students. How many are coming from agriculture background?
Maybe no one, sir, because all are busy.
Yes, sorry. Can you please repeat? Hello.
There is no one.
There is no one. Okay. The overall goal is that data from sensors coupled with the farmer's knowledge and intuitions about his or her farm can help to increase the farm productivity and also help to reduce the cost. So this is one of the areas in agriculture we can use. Let's move on to the next part. I think that will be kind of a video. Let's watch what artificial intelligence can bring to you. Okay, let's watch this video then.
Across industries, societies, and our very way of life, from automated systems that redefine efficiency to personalized.
So I hope all of you can hear this video, right? The sound is coming to you. Yes, student?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
Experiences that cater to our every need. The power of AI is set to revolutionize the world as we know it. Brace yourself for a future where machines not only think, but also shape our destiny. A future where AI changes everything. Artificial intelligence, AI, has been making significant strides in recent years and has the potential to revolutionize various aspects of our lives in the future. With its ability to process vast amounts of data, learn from patterns, and make intelligent decisions, AI is expected to have a profound impact on various industries and society as a whole. One of the significant future impacts of AI lies in automation. AI-powered machines and systems have the potential to replace human labor in repetitive and mundane tasks, leading to increased efficiency and productivity. Industries.
So what is happening if you use AI into the factories and also using the automation? You can have a higher productivity because human after sometimes is prone to tiredness and can have errors, right? But with the precision of your working of the industries using the AI, and also you can automate the whole process.
Such as manufacturing, logistics, and customer service are likely to witness significant transformations as AI takes over routine activities, freeing up human resources to focus on more creative and complex tasks. Welcome back to our channel, where we explore the latest innovations and technological advancements shaping our future. Today, we delve into a topic that has captured the imagination of many: how artificial intelligence will transform our world. And in this video, we'll take a closer look at the incredible ways AI is set to change the future. Artificial intelligence, AI, is poised to have a transformative impact on various aspects of our future. Here are some ways AI is expected to change the future. Automation and job market. AI will continue to automate routine and repetitive tasks, leading to increased efficiency and productivity across industries. While this may result in job displacement in certain sectors, new job opportunities will also emerge, particularly in areas that require human creativity, critical thinking, and emotional intelligence. Healthcare.
So what is you are going to see, there is a train, a mega train that is happening into the job market, right? For the low value added services that we are producing and providing in BPO, it will go to more of a KPO, knowledge-based outsourcing, right? So where your salary and paths will also increase in the job market, and you're going to provide a high value added service to the external customers or global customers. So you need to basically able to equip yourself and with the knowledge that you can be part of this transformation or the change management that is happening around the world, right? So that is why you have taken a right subject and where the sky is not even the limit for you.
AI has the potential to revolutionize healthcare by improving diagnosis accuracy, personalized medicine, and drug discovery. Machine learning algorithms can analyze vast amounts of medical data to identify patterns and predict diseases, enabling early intervention and better patient outcomes. AI-powered robots and virtual assistants can also provide support in caregiving and patient monitoring. Transportation. Self-driving cars and autonomous vehicles are applications of AI that will transform the transportation industry. These vehicles can enhance road safety, reduce traffic congestion, and improve fuel efficiency. Additionally, AI can optimize transportation logistics, such as route planning and delivery management, leading to cost savings and streamlined operations. Personalized experiences. AI. Algorithms can analyze large volumes of data about individual preferences and behaviors to provide personalized recommendations and experiences. This can be seen on entertainment platforms, e-commerce, and social media, where AI-driven algorithms tailor content, products, and advertisements to individual users.
Just to let you know, in case of Netflix and some of the channels, right, what they find based on the age and the preference, right? They are basically, as you know, the serials that gets done from these channels, right? I hope all of you you have been watching Netflix. Yes, student. Are you watching Netflix, serials or movies in Netflix or Z or Amazon Prime? Yes, student.
Yes, sir.
Right? So how this is done? So what they do is based on the user preference, how basically the movies or serials you're watching, how much of time you're spending in watching, what kind of content you're watching. They basically gather all the information, right? And based on that, the liking or basically the people, what kind of serials or what kind of a test they're having, they try to basically create those kind of serials. Because the more the viewership is there, more is the advertisement money they're going to get. And this is all business. So what is happening? Using this, they're using this data, right? They're doing the analysis, and based on that, they are basically using the AI. They're able to create the scripts also, right? And with the scripts that is basically getting populated, they're able to create those kind of drama or the serials and trying to get the maximum viewership. The more viewership they get, more is the money they're going to earn from the sponsors or from the advertisement, right? So, for example, they want to see if the people like to see like a sports serial, right? They will be basically creating a story, what kind of sports they want to have, and based on the they're going to create, or maybe a drama. You have the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law serials that comes used to come into the TV or this thing, right? Because they find there is a viewership for that. And what is the story that need to be narrated based on this, right? They will create those kind of serials so that to have the viewership, right? So like if you can find that there are some global events based on which the people are interested, based on the viewership, what kind of basically viewer, what is the age group also, the target audience. In marketing terms, we call basically what is a target market, right? Based on that, they will create. And you can see those kinds of basically when the serials comes or movies comes, they spend a lot of money for the advertisement also, isn't it? And then they want to attract the viewership for those serials and this thing because they get sponsorship or basically advertisement, and based on that they're able to earn extra amount. Okay, now let's go to the run this video.
Education. AI. Technologies have the potential to revolutionize education by providing personalized learning experiences. Intelligent tutoring systems can adapt educational content to individual student needs, providing targeted guidance and support. AI-powered chatbots and virtual assistants can also assist with administrative tasks and answer student queries, freeing up teachers' time. Cybersecurity. As cyber threats become more sophisticated, AI can play a crucial role in enhancing cybersecurity defenses. AI algorithms can analyze vast amounts of data to identify patterns and anomalies, detect potential cyber attacks, and respond rapidly to mitigate risks. Sustainability. AI can contribute to solving global challenges related to sustainability and climate change. For example,
so I hope all of you know that the sustainability is a big buzzword around the world, right? Because by 2030, the Europe has to have a zero carbon emission. Globally, by 2050, we need to have a zero carbon emission. And India has globally told that by 2070, we will be a zero carbon emission country. So as you can see, all the companies around the world is basically spending huge amount of money on the sustainability, right? Now, for example, you think of the packaging. You have a chocolate, you have a, right, the wrapper. What is this made of? It is made out of film that is made of plastic, which is a biodegradable and had got effect on the basically the pollution that is going to create. Now you think of a wrapper that is basically done from a biodegradable product and which can basically easily get can dissolve into basically the soil or into the water. And if that kind of a packaging it can be done, it will reduce the carbon footprints, right? Now the companies need to report as per the accounting standard and as per the sustainability reporting, they need to report about the carbon credits they're having. If it's zero carbon, then it will be the market, as if the valuation of those companies will come down. So as you can see, there will be lots and lots of opportunities where in the case of sustainability that is going to come, where basically as a student, you can think there is a huge market and potential for all of you, where you can actually work and basically create kind of software or basically kind of the reporting area where you can work. And this kind of as a paradigm shift that you're going to see into the future market that is going to come up. Right, students? So this is can be a big market that is coming up in the future.
Yes, sir.
These are the things I just wanted to bring to your notice that you may not be aware, where you can as you can see, why I was talking about the global scenario, the geopolitics is happening. Because in the negative side of that, there is always a positive side. You need to think which are the areas, which are basically the opportunities that you can grab and you can grow yourself and you can flourish, where the sky is not even the limit, and which is basically at the nascent stage, which is basically going to flourish and going to expand. And if you can be in the beginning of it, you will really going to flourish yourself and you can be able to create a kind of own identity and which can only increase with the passing of time. So as you can see, in case of sustainability, it is basically how you can basically have the products or the services which are basically more eco-friendly, which are more of renewable energies you can use. And with this paradigm shift, with the ecosystem that is changing around us, how you can adapt yourself, right? And how you can make the basically the carbon credits zero, or how you can basically, of course, there is a market for selling carbon credits also. For example, you are basically planting plants, you are basically the hazardous chemicals that are being used, if you can reduce it, or the gas that is generating coming out from your plant, if you can reduce that, right, by that, you are going to help in reduction of your carbon footprint. And once you're able to reduce your carbon footprint, the valuation of your companies will also increase. Maybe you are not aware, as per the accounting standard 38 globally, you need to basically mention the carbon credits as an intangible, what are the assets, right? I don't know how many of you are from finance background, but if you know about this intangible assets in the balance sheet, actually what happens is that it basically increases the valuation of your company, and in the stock market, your value increases means the stock prices increases. That means the value of your company also increases, right? So as you can see, directly, indirectly, it's affecting the corporate and the companies. And when they see they're basically getting benefited from it, they're going to make the investments, right? So this is another opportunity maybe you can think through in your to work on, or a future potential opportunity for you also, right? Any questions? Yes, students, any questions?
It can optimize energy consumption in buildings, enable predictive maintenance for renewable energy infrastructure, and help in monitoring and managing natural resources more efficiently. Cyber attacks creativity and art, AI, Technologies, such as generative adversarial networks, GANs, can create art, music, and literature. These systems can generate original content.
So those who are interested in art, literature, as you can see, AI has got also an option for them, right? Using AI, you can basically create kind of a diagram. You're basically, what are the scripts for you, right? So this will also help you to flourish those kind of area. For
Or
example,
assist
in
human
case of
creators
designing,
by providing suggestions and inspiration, pushing the boundaries of what is possible in artistic expression. Furthermore, AI has the potential to revolutionize education by providing personalized and adaptive learning experiences. Intelligent tutoring systems can analyze individual learning patterns, adapt the curriculum, and provide tailored feedback to students, enhancing their educational outcomes. AI-powered virtual reality and augmented reality tools can also create immersive and interactive learning environments, making education more engaging and effective.
so just to let you know, the AR and VR are extremely now planning to use in the US universities, where basically the thought process is that during the COVID, there was very less physical interaction with the teacher and the student. How to make basically the teaching more effective, right? They have come out with kind of a paradigm shift in the teaching, also the experience, where the students are placed in different parts of the world, right? And some of the leading universities are trying to have that so that they can have a much better way of interaction with the students using the AR/VR.
Robots. We already have AI, home robots, that can do various tasks like cleaning, mowing, and vacuuming. However, in their current form, these robots are not that intelligent. Their capabilities are also limited. The future of AI will see home robots having enhanced intelligence, increased capabilities, and becoming more personal and possibly cute.
So, for example, in case of Amazon, right, you can basically order a home robot that basically what you can do is that maybe you are going to office or you're going to college or you want to go outside. It can have a program maybe in the afternoon 1 to 2 o'clock when you are not in home. It will basically, it's basically a place in the corner of the room or where you have got the switchboard. You put this, it will come out. It will basically clean your house, basically the mopping or this thing they will done, and then it will, after 1 hour you can program it, and then it will come and basically again attach itself for the charging, right? So what is happening, you don't require maybe a housemaid or basically a house servant to clean your house or this thing or doing the dusting. The floor mopping, floor cleaning can be done with the robot which you're going to have. You can go and check in Amazon itself. You can go and find it. You can type and you will find this kind of robots that you can have. In India, you can also purchase and you can have it also. And you can basically program it, and based on that, it will work. How it works? Think of that. Because each and everybody's house is different. The robot has got sensors. Using the AI, it will move around, it will clean. And after that, it will come to a space and attach to it and again charge itself for the next time you have asked it to go and do the cleaning, right? So you can see this is coming to day-to-day work, and it's very, very easy to get it. You can directly do an Amazon booking and you can get it. So how many of you are using Amazon? I think most of you are using Amazon, right? Yes, student. Hello, students.
Yes,
Hello,
sir.
students. Yeah, you're purchasing from Amazon, right? Isn't it?
Yes.
Right? So you can search in Amazon, right? Home Robo, and you will find it also. Okay, let's move.
Example, home robots will overcome navigation, direction, and object detection issues, enabling them to carry out tasks more efficiently. General Electric states, the home robot will be not just a capable assistant, but something with personality, lifelike, a companion in the home that you actually like having around. Space exploration. Major space exploration organizations like NASA are already using AI for unmanned shuttles, rovers, and probes to explore distant galaxies. These AI robots can detect objects and obstructions, find safe paths, and help discover new locations that weren't otherwise possible. In the future, the use of AI.
So you can see India is now become a big player in the space also, right? India is sending few days back only around 25 satellites of Singapore into the sky. The Chandrayaan 3 that India is already sent, right? And India is now exporting so many countries satellites into the outer space. And so there is a huge amount of potential in India itself in the space area where we are using AI. And as you can see, lots and lots of countries around the world are asking Indian Space Agency, ISRO, to send the satellites abroad. So we can see a huge paradigm shift that has happened where India is getting bigger and bigger pie into the space market, right? Now, with this, a lot of opportunities is going to come to all the people in India, and you are there to grab this market. And you can see this another areas where you can see a huge potential for India. And as a student, you can see yourself, there is a huge potential for you also.
In space exploration will help right from mission planning to execution, operations, and the completion stage. Moreover, they will also detect and help prevent catastrophic events like a meteor impact or spacecraft component failure. This will help enhance space exploration missions' efficiency, output, and safety. We can safely conclude that the future of AI in space exploration is as bright as the stars and galaxies it is helping us find. Wars. Robotic soldiers are not a scientific concept anymore.
So I have been talking initially that regarding the robotic soldiers. As you can see, this is another area where a lot of development is happening.
They are already being used autonomously in various war missions to aid human soldiers. They are helping change the way wars are fought, in a good as well as a bad way. For example, on the one hand, they are helping reduce human casualties. On the other hand, they are causing more destruction. Then there is also the question of the ethics of using robots without any human control in wars. However, the future impact of AI also raises ethical and societal concerns. Issues related to privacy, job displacement, bias in algorithms, and the concentration of power need to be carefully addressed to ensure that AI technologies are developed and deployed responsibly. The future impact of AI is vast and exciting. From revolutionizing healthcare and transportation to transforming education and the workplace, artificial intelligence has the potential to improve our lives in countless ways. As we move forward, it's crucial to foster responsible development and deployment of AI technology, ensuring its benefits are accessible to all while addressing the challenges that arise. The future is bright, and with AI, we're on the brink of an incredible technological revolution. It's important to note that the impact of AI on society will depend on how it is developed, deployed, and regulated.
Right, students? So as you can see, this is one of the most important thing that you need to understand, right? That how we're going to employ AI and how we are going to deploy AI for our benefit. Now, this is where you need to take a decision how and which area one need to work or research. Of course, to me, if it is beneficial to humans, that is the best way that one can work on the AI and machine learning, and that will really help. Any questions, student? Hello, student, any question? Yes, student, any question? Before we move on to the next area? Yes, students, any question? If you do not have any question, I will take 1 minute break and then we'll start and I'll share my screen again. Yes, students. See, if you're not speaking and I'm only speaking, then I'm getting thirsty and I have to drink a lot of water. So I want it to be more interactive, right? Okay, let me share my screen. And I hope you're able to see my screen. Yes, student, are you able to hear my, you can see my screen? Students, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please speak up. Otherwise, how can I know that you're able to listen or able to hear what I'm saying? Now, I want to go to some case studies now around the world, because you need to know how basically around the world the AI is getting adapted, right? Let us go to Italy, and I hope you heard of the food called kiwi, right? And how basically using the smart irrigation technique or system, how they're able to get benefited. So what they're doing a precious farming to make the smart irrigation decisions. So what they have done wireless sensors network, supposed to be a great opportunity because of the low installation, maintenance, and also low operating cost. As you know, getting laborers in Europe is very, very costly, right? The cost of labor is very, very high there. So what they've done, they've adopt basically using the technology, how they can produce at the minimum labor cost. And in fact, also now in India, as you can see in agriculture, the labor cost has gone up, and getting laborers also, we find it quite difficult. The IoT platform allowed to collect information from the sensor platforms and other information sources such as geo-referred camera pictures and multispectral analysis of satellite imagery, and include the models to help farmers in decision and alerts, right? So they have got cameras in and around so that they can find basically the soil, basically the agriculture, how it is growing. They can also have got IoT to check the what is the soil nutrient content, or how much is the water level into the soil. So all those informations they can get and do the analysis also. And the farmers have been able to monitor without any interaction of the soil water status, or have the irrigation always under control, as I was explaining to you. The deployment of the soil water status sensors at different depths has allowed to compare the effect of irrigation strategies. Farmers have had a prompt warning about any water stress conditions to recover from the growth deficit. So as you can see, if there is water is less, then the productivity of the crops also going to get affected, right? See, ultimately, you have to understand we need to eat, right? If we don't have food, then how we will survive? So that is why the irrigation or agriculture is very, very critical for humans also. Now, coming to this case study, as you can see, this is basically, you can see these are kiwis. Now, generally what happens in the market, you will find the kiwi basically box, and you will find the kiwis to be of exactly same dimension and also the same weight, right? So how many of you had got kiwi, have eaten kiwi? Yes, student. Hello, student, have you eaten kiwi as a fruit? Hello, students, I'm not hearing anything from you. Have you seen kiwi fruit? Have you eaten it? Yes, student. Hello, are you able to hear me? So Famosa is an Italian company that works on technology-based support for agriculture, offering solutions for crop monitoring and management. So name of the company, the case study is a company called Famosa. They have developed a wireless sensors network in a kiwi plantation, and with accurate information strategies for farmers, the main aim is that being the testing reliability for the kiwi growing season. Now, as you can see, these are the sensors that are there attached to the each QE. So they can see the dimension of the QE and the length, and based on that, they can basically plug this QE and put it in a boxes and send to the global customer market. Because the customer likes basically a standard QE and also the QE that they can eat. The company has installed two different wireless sensors to monitor the soil water status plan irrigation in the kiwi orchard because they need to know how much of the water the soil has got, and based on that, they can do this farming. So you can think in agriculture how it is worked, as you can see, using basically the through the camera and the sensors, the recognition, how much is the kiwi, the size, and this thing. They transmit that through the cloud, right? And where basically they get the information to the monitoring system, whether it's the time to pick it or not. Similarly, depending upon the wind condition, water condition, and the soil nutrients, they will decide whether they need to put the sprinklers on, or basically depending upon whether they need to give pesticides or basically they need to give manure for the further growth of the trees. Right? So this whole process they can automate, and using that they are able to get a better productivity, and which in turns result in higher profit for this farm. Now we go to another case study. This is basically in Greece. So Patras is basically a smart city in Greece, where basically it is actually the third largest city and regional capital of Western Greece. So how they are basically able to have using AI and IoT, how they're able to benefit the citizens there, you can see in this case study. So what they have done, they have got basically adopted a smart lighting and also smart parking. So smart lighting, what they have done is that if there is no car or pedestrian in that street, then automatically they don't require those lights to be on. And in case of smart parking, basically what they have done is that the IoT smart parking service has initially been installed on the Petron street, a long straight running through the city center and offers on-street parking. Now, you have seen in the malls, if you have come to Bangalore, some of the malls, you will find whether there is a car parking availability or not. It basically in the dashboard, it shows, and based on that, you can go to that floor and park your car. Now, if you go to the Forum Mall in Bangalore, you can see there is a multi-layered car parking is there in the first floor, second floor, third floor, or fifth floor, wherever you got a car parking, you can go and park. Right? So that makes more user congeniality, and the user becomes very happy because the user experience is high. So if there's a car parking in the second floor, then basically one can see there's no car parking in the first floor, you can go to the second floor and directly park its car. Similarly, here what they've got sensors in the streets and the parking spaces where it is available, it can show into the monitor, and based on that, they know exactly where there is a car parking available, who is the driving the car, they know exactly where the car they need to park, and based on that, they will go and park their car in that parking space. And with that, what will happen is that the driver will feel much comfortable because they know where they need to park the car, and also it will save not only time, it also will save basically the persons at that time will not get angry or this thing because he knows exactly where he need to go and park the car. Right? So again, basically the parking data are collected by the local partner who provides the parking app that resident can use to view where the parking space is available. As I was mentioning, the app is then able to guide the driver directly to the available parking spot. So either it can be through monitor or you can have an app. So before you're coming to that street, using that app, you can find where is the car parking available, and based on that, you can directly go there. It's like a Google map, you can find out where is the parking availability is there and go there and park your car, right? Any questions, student? Before I move on to the next slide. Yes, student. Any questions? Smart lighting. Now, as I was mentioned to you, in fact, in the street, depending upon if there is no car is coming or if pedestrian is there, the lights will be switched up. Now, this is another way of basically saving the natural resources, saving basically electricity also, and which will help you to lower your cost, right? If, for example, there is no car in that area going between morning 1 a.m. to 4 a.m., right, for the 3 hours, then you don't require basically the street lights to be on because unnecessary wastage of power. Now, the electricity you can save is basically switch off those during that time. And whenever car comes using the sensor, you can switch it on, right? And with this, basically, you are going to save a lot of energy, right? So this is another kind of an energy management you can do. Any questions, student? We move on to the next slide. So this helps the customers both in the form of having basically parking their car in a better way, knowing that space, and also saving energy cost for that city. And what will happen? The municipal corporation for that area will able to lower its cost, and in turn, the citizens of that city or that place can have a less taxation because the municipal corporation of that city is able to manage an earn profit. Now, to basically the local expenses is getting reduced, and that will benefit the people who are staying into that place. So this is basically the case study and how using the big data, right? The use of the common IoT network for both services means the data from each service can readily be combined to create a detailed actions based on the behaviors. So the example of lighting could be dimmed when a parking space is vacant to save energy cost. This can be another way also you can do it. Just to keep some of the view and thought process, how basically you can apply AI and IoT for the benefit of humans. Now coming to basically in China, that is basically the water and gas consumer in Shenzhen area of China, which has historically been a challenge because there are basically, as you know, there are huge number of people there, and it is basically has got the people, how basically you can have your better monitoring, better billing of your electricity, water to the consumers, right? So it connects this gas pipeline, for example, in China, the infrastructure covering around 40,000 square kilometer of the new gas pipeline and connecting to 470 million people, right? And they have also done a lot of investment into the water infrastructure for better control issues for the leakage and infrastructure management. As you know, if you see this kind of any company that is floated, they want to earn some profit. Now, if there is a leakage or if they're not able to do a proper billing, what will happen? The revenue will come down, and there are basically operation costs because of the leakage and this thing. And ultimately, the prices they're going to sell it to the consumer will be higher. And if they're not able to operate in profit, what will they will basically close their operation and leave. And that will create a lot of job loss for the people who are working for these companies. So what has happened? The China Telecom and the Huawei has partnered with the Shenzhen Water and Shenzhen Gas to demonstrate the benefit that IoT smart meters could bring for this utility company. How they're doing it? Excuse me. So The company was facing a lot of issues. Now, with this, what they've done is that, and there were a lot of disputes about basically the inaccuracy of the water meters, and which was dissatisfaction for the people of that area. Now, if you have got a system, IoT system based on the consumptions that is happening, it can basically provide the information back to the back office, and based on that, they have got the billing done. So you don't have to have the people going to those places, right? Because going into so many people's places the first day of the month or the last day of the month, right? It will cause basically it's not possible also, and it will raise a lot of disputes because you're not able to go and you just do a billing. Now, but if you've got an IoT monitoring, smart metering, what will happen? Automatically, end of the month, for the whole month consumptions, it will basically go to the back office and they know how much of basically consumptions of the water or electricity or gas the customer has consumed. And based on that, basically the billing can be done. Isn't it, student? Hello, students. Any questions? In fact, you can think through if there is basically leakage that is happening, automatically you can see, and they can do an audit and reconcile in which area this issue is happening. They can basically attend to those problems and stop those leakages also. And that will also help them to increase the profit, right? So unnecessary loss they can prevent. In India also, you know, some of the places in electricity, a lot of slippage or leakage happens, or basically unauthorized people taking those electricity. And if we can stop those, the electricity corporations or the electricity companies in India can earn better profit, and then they can basically serve the people much, much better. Because if you have got a better profit, then you can hire more people and provide better service to the consumers. So any questions, students? Hello, students, any questions? So this is basically, as you can see, this is how it has been done, right? Using the IoT. I'm not going through it because you can just read it out yourself. I'll go to the benefit. The IoT will deliver more significant benefits to the company, including reliability of the transmission. As an IoT is based on the LTE network, it shares high quality attributes associated with the technology. This means that the messages can be sent and received reliably and regularly, and the network is stable, and they can provide the solution as standardized. And this helps them to basically roll out the water meters, gas meters, electricity meters, and basically without need of additional backups and infrastructure needed for the outage scenarios. So they can manage it much, much better. So this is, I'm going on to the next slide. If you don't have any questions. Any questions, students? Now we go to Croatia. This is basically a country in Europe. It is basically part of the Eastern Europe, right? I do not know how many of you heard of Croatia, because Croatia has got a good soccer team also. Maybe if you are football or soccer lover, you must be heard of those Croatian soccer team. Now, in Croatia, what they wanted to do is basically they want to monitor the air pollution. And as you know, the air pollution causes health issue, and can be a carcinogenic effect to the human bodies. To prevent that, if you have got a better air quality, the people in and around will have much better lifestyle and will have basically better health. So based on the smart sense air quality monitoring system or IoT, they can check what is basically the emission level or what basically the gases that they are into basically in the society, or that area, and based on that, they can take appropriate action. Now, if they find is that the carbon in that area is on the higher side, they can find out which of the corporates or from where the pollution is coming, and based on that, they can take an appropriate action either to stop it or to basically provide an alternative how to reduce it. Right? So this will help basically the people who are staying in and around have a better quality of life. So any questions, students? The aim of this initiative was to develop a new IoT-powered air quality sensors that perform as well as the existing sensor and optimize for an IoT, meaning that it can be a battery or solar powered in future. This will allow the sensors to be installed in many local locations, and while keeping the installation and operating cost much on the lower side. Right? So with this, they can have a significant benefit of the controlling and monitoring of the air pollution. And they can get all the information on the real time using the IoT. Now let's move to Taiwan. So Taiwan is a small country, or it's an island in the eastern part of China. Right? So what they have done is that they have developed kind of an app where basically the people who are into the cities, they go for a outside the city or somewhere, and they don't have basically a car into their garage. As you know, this is being a small country, and in the city, the car parking is a big problem. Now, whoever is visiting that area or whoever coming from outside that city, in the app, they can find out which are basically the apps or places where they can go and do the parking. Right? So based on this, what they have done is that they created an app through which basically, like the initial one, they have already done is what are the things this app can do. And for example, a person who going to the outside that city, he just put into his app that my garage is empty, and based on the location, whoever coming to the city, they can just find it out that the garage, there is a space he can park the car, and using this app, he will go and locate and do the parking, and you pay for the fees for that period of time his car into his garage, and when he leaves, he will go to the garage and take his car and move out. So by doing this, what they're trying to do is that helping basically the controlling of the traffic, unnecessary parking here, then is not there. And the people who are having those garage can earn some extra bit of money, because once the people who comes there put their car, they have to pay some money for parking their car also. As you can see, the citizen of that place is able to earn some extra money, while basically the people who are visiting that place also feeling much better, because they don't have to worry about parking their car. They can see in the app where it is available, and based on that, they can go and just park their car. Yes, student, any question? So before we move on to some of the major trends, right? I just wanted to check with you. Any questions, student? If you don't have any questions, let us go and see what are the major trends that are happening around the world. Okay, students? Let us see.
Number 1, Internet of Things. In the past, the internet was the thing that most of us used only when we were on our computers. Then, some years ago, it began making it to our mobile phones, then our video game consoles. And today, we're heading in a path where we won't need to say, "I'm on the internet" any longer.
I did not see that coming.
Almost everything we use, both indoors and outdoors, will be on the internet, from our fridges and washing machines to our power supply and home security systems. That's why knowledge of networks, data communication, and software will be skills that are needed in pretty much every single industry out there. Manufacturing, construction, and service industries will be on a constant search for new internet-based mechanisms to incorporate into their product in order to gain an edge in the market. The tech geeks will become the ones helping operate our entire environment. The Internet of
Are you looking to start your YouTube channel, but you don't know where to begin? Have you put out videos, but you're struggling to get...
Internet of Things will actually include almost all of the things.
Internet, so helpful.
Number 2, artificial intelligence. Google studies our behavior. Facebook learns our preferences. We ask Siri to find us near places to eat. And we let Amazon guide us through the vast aisles of the digital market. Ever since the machines began acquiring knowledge of their own, they have taken huge leaps towards developing a real, humanly consciousness. Today, we're on the verge of an era where we will move around in self-driving cars, work alongside robots, and read books or listen to music that was created by a machine. Some of us are actually doing some of these things already.
Alexa, can you pour me a cup of water?
Watch.
The field of artificial...
So you can see some people are becoming lazy also. So they don't have to go and get basically water. They can just ask Alexa or Siri to help them to get the water also, right?
Intelligence in the coming decades will become one of the most vibrant arenas for endless experimentation. Also, as everything becomes connected thanks to the Internet of Things, more and more data related to our behavior will be collected, and the machines will have infinitely more material to learn from. Don't forget that artificial intelligence is not only a field that is exclusive to the computer scientists. We're talking about creating brains like ours, and potentially ones that will even be way more powerful than ours. They will live with, talk to, and affect us. That makes the field as much a field of interest for computer scientists as it is for psychologists, philosophers, politicians, and managers. There will be people to create it, others to observe it, and ones to decide how we will live with it. Number 3, cybersecurity. We've already talked about 2 industries that will make our entire existence more and more dependent on computer systems. With that will come more vulnerability to cyber attacks. Hackers are already able to access bank accounts, steal classified state information, freeze entire companies completely, and get their hands on our personal information. Without proper cybersecurity systems, though, they will soon have potential access to everything connected to the internet, which will be almost everything around us, from our houses to our cars to the medical equipment at hospitals. That's why the cybersecurity industry is our only hope for any real security in the future, and so it will grow all the more important as more things in our daily lives get connected. This industry is our main safeguard against humanity's future dreams turning into real nightmares. Number 4, genomics. 15 years ago, exactly in 2003, the US founded Human Genome Project, which had begun in 1990, was finally capable of sequencing and mapping the human genetic code. This project cost $3 billion. If things had stayed at that cost, the industry wouldn't carry much hope, since not many people would have been willing to enter into something.
So you can see huge investments are happening, right, into the areas like where people want to find from the genes.
Your voice is not audible.
Are you able to hear?
Yes, sir. Now.
Are you able to?
Yes, sir.
Are you able to hear now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you can see in genomics, huge amount of investment. And those days, in 1993 $3 billion is a huge amount, right? So you can see the government is spending, or the private companies, or the venture capitalists is spending so much of amount, right? And with the help of the AI, they're trying to develop new products, new areas, which will benefit the human community.
That expensive, but today sequencing a genome can cost just around $1,000. Today, the field of genomics is at its highest level of vigor, with players like Bill Gates and Google jumping on its bandwagon with billions of dollars in investments. With the research being more facilitated, genomics is expanded to completely transform our understanding of the human body's components and our ability to cure and nurture it. Our safeguard against cancer, diabetes, and even our hope to quickly adapt our bodies to the sky-high rates of change in our environments in the decades to come all lie in genomics. That's an industry that is expected to become worth more than $20 billion.
You can understand how much amount of money. You have heard of the diabetics too, basically reverse diabetics, right? And so many things are getting developed around the world. And huge amount of investment is happening into this area. Pharmaceutical companies are spending billions of dollars, right? And to develop how they can benefit the human beings.
In
And this is all
2022.
happening with AI.
That's only 1 year from now. Number 5, drones. Drone technology is now becoming more and more affordable in the same way we just mentioned with genomics. In the near past, there were times when drones were only novelty items that most of us only associated with war and bomb dropping.
The missile was just a precaution.
Today, drones are already becoming central to everyday non-military tasks, like photography, journalism, and like Amazon's use of them for delivery. The future is all for drones, though, and they will become used in everything from agriculture to delivering emergency aid for victims of heart attacks. As they keep on gaining some intelligence of their own, as they already are, it won't be long before law enforcement agencies start using them for patrol and let these flying hawks identify the bad guys. There's literally no limit to the potential drone applications. Number 6, robotics. For several years now, more and more warehouses and manufacturing plants have been including robots in their workforce. Now we have Sophia, the Saudi Arabian humanoid that was the first robot to acquire a national citizenship. And there are robots that are entertaining the seniors in retirement homes in Japan. Very soon, we'll be having robots as our friends, co-workers, and in-house assistants.
Blood on my mat. Handle it.
That's why we now have robot relationship researchers to decide what set of rules will shape our interactions with robots. Some people might be afraid that robots will one day take over our jobs, but if you're a person working in the vast field of robotics, that's not a fear that you should share. Number 7, virtual reality. Being able to simulate certain situations and environments without the costs and risks of the same experience in real life opens up a goldmine of potential applications that we could or could not imagine at the moment. The technology of VR is already being used by military forces to train their soldiers, people who are taking driver's license tests, as well as in video games. Companies are also using VR to train their employees, like ExxonMobil, who use the technology to
Think of those oil rigs that is inside the sea, right? Now, if you want to train your employees, you cannot go and send them into those rigs, right? Like Bombay High, for which example in India, it is basically in the Arabian Sea. Now, they train their employees using this technology where they get basically first-hand experience how to manage those. And when they are through the helicopter, they are landed there, right? On those platforms, then they can basically able to work. Otherwise, if they're not properly trained like this, it will take a huge amount of cost for those companies, because generally what happens, they stay for a few days there, again are sent back to their home, and they enjoy a few days with the family, again they're sent through helicopters. Each sending through the helicopter, bringing through the helicopter also, that costs a lot of money. So as you can see, the companies are also adopting using the AI and VR, right? How they basically enable their employees, the training also that can be done in a much better way.
train its engineers and field workers on fuel production processes. And that's only the tip of a massive.
In fact, as you know, the golf players, right? They, after playing, they use this technology, make their shots and see how they're performing, right? As you know, if anybody of you have played golf, when you have hit a ball, you have to think on basically what is the air flow, what direction it is flowing, how you need to basically, is there anything when the ball is hit, whether there can be any fluctuation into that ball, where is that hole is there. All those calculations when the player has to do it, right? Rather than going into the field, playing shots after shots, he can go to a room, he can improve his shots, and then he go into the ground and plays it. So as you can see, from the player to employee, this really helps them to enhance the skill, and basically the training sessions comes down a lot. Because for example, in golf, if you hit a ball, then somebody has to go and collect it also, right? And it may be 200 yards, the ball goes there, and then one had to go and find out how far is from the hole the ball has gotten landed. So as you can see, this is how one, like a player or basically or an employee, that improves the skill and with the passage of time. Similarly, if you can see, like a cricketer also, right? If you want to hit a ball, whether you want to square cut or a drive or want to hook or pull, right? How the ball is coming, you can check and improve his technique, because through this one can see in the camera how he has done, and it basically provides using AI that you have to do this thing so that you can have a better hit on the ball and you can score much better. So this, as you can see, improves the person's capability and also the skill.
Iceberg. Number 8, nanotechnology. There are countless ways.
The middle class trap. Do you see the apartments in the
There
background?
are basically multiple
Just take a guess.
ways, right?
Ways in which we as a species have our hopes hanging on advancements in the fields of nanotechnology.
So I hope all of you know what is nanotechnology is also, right? Yes, student. Hello, students. I hope you have heard of this, the trends that are happening around the world.
Today, there's extensive research in the field, with the applications ranging from medicine to agriculture. The possibilities are being studied regarding how we can use nanotechnology to speed up bone cell growth, the detection of cancer cells, creating self-cleaning surfaces, and implementing healthier and more efficient irrigation methods. All of that potential says that the future of nanotechnology is only pointed in one direction: endless advancements.
Where'd that come from?
It's nanotech. You like it?
Number 9, renewable energy. For several years, a growing number of people are getting into an ever-inflating state of existential panic because of the climate change that is taking place as a result of our 2 centuries-long use of fossil fuels as our primary source of energy. With more people coming to realize the magnitude of the global warming threat, governments, companies, and private individuals are taking steps towards depending on renewable sources of energy, like solar and wind. The Internet of Things boom is set to further help these plans materialize by facilitating private power supply networks. According to some estimates, renewable energy is expected to fulfill almost 100% of the power supply needed to run the world's economy by 2050. Number 10, share.
So what are the renewable energy, yes, students, we can think of? Hello, students. Yes, students, what are the renewable energy you can think of? Students, are you there? Are you able to hear me? Hello, are you able to hear me? Students, are you able to hear me or see the screen?
Yes, sir. Your voice is audible, sir.
So tell me how many renewable energies are there? What kind of renewable energy you can think through? Any idea? See, you have got solar, isn't it? From the sunlight. You got wind energy. You have got, what else you can have? You can have hydro energy using the water. You can, from the sea waves, you can have energy, right? So those are the renewable energy one can think through.
economy. We're moving towards a world where we will barely own stuff anymore. We're coming to realize that it's often cheaper and more efficient to rent whatever we can give up on owning.
We're here to serve you with a court-ordered eviction.
Okay.
We've been increasingly doing it with car rides as more people are using sharing services like Uber, and the same with real estate renting services like Airbnb. Today, more services are joining that new sharing model, with apps being built on rental services for household equipment, office spaces, and even leisure boats. Thanks to smartphones.
So you can see the office places also has got tremendous change. WeWork is where they basically provide office spaces to the individuals. They come in multiple areas, right? So you don't have to basically go and hire for a huge office space, depending upon the number of employees you're having. But individually, if you're traveling, you can just hire from the WeWork the office space and you can start operating, right? So for the startups and for the small companies, they can basically use the WeWork and they can just start working on that.
More people are connected and thus gaining access to these services on both the provider and consumer sides. Number 11, e-learning. As we shift towards a future more dependent on innovation than on formal college certificates, and where the value of your knowledge is based on what you can create and not what degrees you hold, and finally facilitated by all of the technologies we just mentioned, e-learning is definitely the future of education. With more people on the internet than ever before, and with VR technology and artificial intelligence applications expanding into our daily lives, creating more engaging, customizable, and effective learning experiences will make e-learning the primary means of education in the not very far future. Number 12, big data. You probably noticed that almost every industry we mentioned is dependent on data in one way or another. Data is what artificial intelligence systems learn from, and increasing the efficiency of our economic decisions will be, in the first place, a matter of good data. Whoever is able to acquire data and has the proper methods for analyzing it will be a central player in the future economy. Data scientists are right now becoming essential players in every arena, from marketing to healthcare to politics. Number 13, 3D printing. 3D printing technologies now include all kinds of material, enabling individuals to home manufacture their own spare parts and stationary items, and at the same time, giving companies new alternatives for construction and car manufacturing. This technology is giving us bright visions of a future where manufacturing is democratized. Will it be the end of mass production? Possibly, but that's a bit far-fetched and extra optimistic. What we know is that 3D printing will transform our manufacturing capabilities and costs, and will make us as individuals able to create our own products in our very own homes. It will also cut a large portion of companies' construction and manufacturing costs. All we can be sure of is that 3D printing is the tool of our new industrial era. Number 14, blockchain technology. With the Bitcoin frenzy that has taken over the world's financial markets in the past couple of years, we came to frequently hear the term blockchain. It's the
So do you know what is blockchain? The students. Anybody want to volunteer and tell me what is blockchain? Hello students, what is blockchain? What do you understand by blockchain? So what we can say is a blockchain that innovation can change our world, right? The blockchain technology is a very practical solution to the problem of storing, authenticating, and protecting data. You can think extremely secure database, or to get slightly more technical, it is distributed peer-to-peer ledger of records. Right? You have seen, you have the Bitcoins, you heard of the Ethereum coins, Lion coins, isn't it? Yes, student. While nothing is ever totally hack-proof, blockchain represents a huge leap forward compared to our current data security technology, as unlike a centralized database, there is no single point of failure. The record in a blockchain are called blocks, and every block is connected to the previous block. Hence, block and chain it is called, right? The whole chain is sent itself is managed. It means there is no person or organization in charge of the entire chain. If that sounds familiar, it might be because of the virtual currency Bitcoin, which you are aware of, which I was telling you, and the functionals on the blockchain, and it works on the blockchain technology. Now, many financial services, or insurance company or healthcare, right, are just of some of the centers that are generally used, where blockchain likely to be are heavily adopted. In fact, as you know, in case of companies, they do a proxy voting of the shareholders using the blockchain technology so that people cannot be who is voting for this not to be known. They can use this blockchain technology, and with this autonomous voting system, they can get the amount of vote for each of the decisions they are taking. And in fact, 90% of the major European and North American banks are exploring the blockchain solution so that the person can be, they can have a better security for these customers. And as you can see, blockchain is going to have a huge, basically, potential in the coming days. And that is how the people are going to look into this area, and why we see a huge potential for all of you if you want to pursue your career in the blockchain. Any questions, students?
Centralized public ledger mechanism at the heart of cryptocurrencies, but cryptocurrencies are far from its only application. If there is one technology that has the potential to create the decentralized, comprehensive ecosystem that will facilitate all of these other industries we mentioned in a more secure and efficient way, it is definitely blockchain. Based on this technology, there are companies being launched that want to put our finances, research, identity management, and even voting processes on the blockchain. It's basically the new face of the internet, and innovations in this technology will become among the most valuable contributions anyone can make to the future economy. Let us know in the comments.
Right. So, yes, students. Any question from your side before I move again to my slides? Okay, let's move again to my slides, and let's go and see. The next topic is IoT cloud. Now, as you know, we are adopting to cloud because it provides the investment to have the infrastructure investment to be less for the people, and it is basically pay per use that can be done. So cloud computing is the demand availability of the computer systems resources, especially the data storage and the cloud storage, and computing power without direct active management by the users. So as you can see, there are three things. One is application, platform, and infrastructure. So based on that, one can have the application, one can have the platform, or one can have the infrastructure, and they can use pay per use, and they can do it, right? So next slide, we will basically go and see what are the types of services one can get into from the cloud, right? Now, IoT cloud is the computing relies on the sharing the resources to achieve coherence. Is somebody saying something? Yes, tell me. Any questions? So it is basically pay-per-use model, and which can help in reducing the capital expenses, but may also lead to unexpected operating expenses for unaware users. So there are basically, for the cloud clients, it can be for you basically have three types. One is basically SaaS model. One is basically you have got PaaS model, and another is used for your IaaS. So can you tell me what is SaaS? Any students want to volunteer? what you understand by SaaS? What is the full form of SaaS? SaaS is called basically the software as a service. PaaS is called the platform as a service, and IaaS is called the infrastructure as a service. Right? In the SaaS model, basically, it is the on-demand service, independent platform, no need to install in a PC, resource managed by the vendor who use it, and like end users like the Gmail or basically Hotmail, or basically these are the things that you're using. Right? It's basically software. So what the cloud does, so using the cloud, you're basically having a huge space online, collection of your servers and orchestration of all the processes you can do in the cloud, which really helps the people, right? Now coming to SaaS, basically, as you all of you are using some kind of a mail, Gmail or whatever mails you are using, right? Maybe Yahoo Mail also. So it helps you to send your email and send to the other person. So these are some of the activities you are doing in SaaS. So what are the pros? What when you're using a SaaS, it is universally accessible from any platform, excellent for collaborative working. Vendor provides software tools for multiple tenants, softwares, and also this is available to you. What are the cons? Portability, browser issue, compliance restriction, internet dictates over performance, right? Now, if I go to the PaaS, PaaS is basically application, runtime, databases, web servers, developer services, data lakes. These are the things that you can use in PaaS. The PaaS as a service, what is happening? You can have the programming language plus operating system plus servers plus database, and provides you to build and compile and run programs. And here the user manages data and applications resources. And who use it? It's the developer. Example, Google App Store, creating your own app. You can basically use this and create your own app, right? So this is basically using PaaS you can do. Now, if I go to basically so in case of PaaS, what happens? The service provider provides a complete kind of a platform to use. That means the provider takes care of the underlying part of the infrastructure platform, but more than what happens in SaaS, right? Your servers are taken care of your virtual machines, and with this, what you can do, you can predefine the tools that you can create your own application. For example, Google App Engine, Google Play Store, where you can place your app, or freedom of creating your own application. But the basic infrastructure that are providing with the platform are virtual machines that are taken care by the vendor. You are only bothered by your own data and your applications, and only what you want to maintain on this. What are the pros? Scalable and cost effective, faster market developments. You can do easy deployment of the web application, and it can be both private and public. Concept, provided language only you can use. You cannot develop your own language. Developers and their development is limited on this, and the migration issues can be there, and vendor lock-in can be there. So if they want to lock you, you have to ask the permission, because the infrastructure is not with you. Whereas basically, if you think of the IaaS, it provides you the computing architecture plus infrastructure. You can have your data storage, virtualization, and servers plus networking. The vendor manages this resources. User handles the data and the middleware. Right? So you can handle your own data and the middleware, whereas the provider basically handles all the servers and the networking. What are the basically who uses this? It's basically the system administrators. They uses this because these are the information you need to know, so that it will help you in your future. What are the pros? The cloud provides the infrastructure, enhanced scalability. You can have dynamic workloads are supported by this platform. And the cons, security issues, service delays, network delays. Right? So These are generally the high level, basically kind of services you can get. Either you can take a SaaS, PaaS, or IaaS, right? And another thing is that what are the clouds that is there? You can have either public cloud, that means it can be multi-tenants. It can be a private cloud that is only for you. A single tenant can be there, or a hybrid cloud that it is a combination of private and public cloud. Any questions, students, before I move on to the next slide? Yes, student. So most important thing in the cloud is that the cloud security, right? And the privacy concerns. Now, for example, like in Europe, if you know the GDPR are there, so that some of the informations you cannot pass to other continent over and above the Europe continent. So you need to basically know that, and based on that, you need to adopt your strategy. Now, for example, if you want to do a development work you're doing for an European customer in healthcare, right? You cannot have the data, the production data in your system. So there are ways that data need to be moved. It has to be masked. That means actual data will not come to you. It will be in the masked data, and based on that, you need to work and do the coding. So you need to be aware of all those things. That will really help you. Otherwise, that is why some of the cases you need to travel on site, and with the proper check and permission, you will be allowed to use those customer productive system. So the cloud computing poses privacy concerns because the service provider can access the data that is in cloud at any time. It could accidentally or deliberately alter or delete the information. Many cloud providers can share information with third parties if necessary for purpose of law and order without warrant. The solution to privacy include policy and legislation, as well as the end users' choices for how data is stored. Users can encrypt data that is processed or stored within the cloud to prevent unauthorized access. Identity management system can also provide practical solution to privacy concerns in cloud computing. These systems distinguish between the authorized and unauthorized users, determine the amount of data that is accessible to each entity. The system work by creating and describing identities and recording activities and getting rid of the unused identities. Any question till now, student, on this? Hello, student, any question before I move on to the next slide? Yes, student. Okay, now we go to the machine learning. So what do you understand by machine learning? Yes, student. Tell me what you understand in machine learning. So as you can see, machine learning is basically has got three components. How it is done, you have basically how AI, ML, and deep learning is associated with that. Artificial intelligence is any technique which enables the computer to mimic the human behavior. Machine learning is a subset of AI which uses a statistical method to enable the machines to improve the experiences. So as you can see, this is basically the AI. The subset of AI is machine learning, and subset of machine learning is the deep learning. The subset of ML, which makes the computation of the multi-layer neural network feasible, and that is how all three combine together and helps basically to create beneficial to the humanity, and we will just work on and learn on this. So machine learning is a field of inquiry devoted to understanding and building methods that learn, that is the methods that leverages data to improve the performance of some set of tasks, the use of the development of computer systems that are able to learn and adapt without following explicit instruction by using the algorithm and statistical modules to analyze and draw inferences from pattern in data. It is the application of artificial intelligence, AI. It defines the device, that ability to learn from their experience and improve the self without doing any coding. For example, when you shop for any website, it shows related search, like people who bought also saw this. Now you can see the machine learning. Using machine learning, you can, if you go to Amazon or Google, you can see with the past history and this thing, they're able to predict what are the things that you may require. And this is basically what they're using, that based on your past history, what you have purchased, or based on the past searches you have done, that basically the system basically recognizes that and come out with the information. Any other things you want to say on the machine learning, students? Any other examples that comes to your mind? Machine learning is seen as a part of the artificial intelligence. Machine learning algorithms build a model based on the sample data, known as the training data, in order to make predictions or decisions without being explicit programmed to do it. Machine learning algorithms are used in a wide variety of applications, such as medicine, email filtering, speech recognition, and computer vision, where it is difficult or unfeasible to develop conventional algorithms to perform the needed task. Right? So as you can see, some of the areas where machine learning is very, very applicable, where you want to filter your emails, right? So that in fact, in Twitter, they use basically machine learning, for example, to filter out any hate speech or any other mails which are basically, you can say, dangerous or can be used by the criminal authorities. They can identify it and figure it out and basically delete it before it is sent, or they can take proper action on the owner of those. Machine learning supports predictive analytics. A subset of machine learning is closely related to computational statistics, which focuses on making prediction using the computers, but not all machine learning is statistical learning. Some implementations of machine learning use data and neural network in the way that mimics the working of biological brain, right? In its application across business problems, machine learning is also referred to as predictive analytics, but just using your machine learning, a lot of predictive analysis can be done because based on the past history it captures and the information, you can identify what kind of a decision the person or the concern can take it up, and based on that, you can do predictive analysis also. For example, if you do purchase a lot of things from Amazon, it basically predicts based on your purchase history or based on your searches, this kind of product you like. For example, you like Nike shoe, if you type a shoe, it will show you the Nike shoe, and so that it saves you time and rather than going into the other shoes. So machine learning and future predictions. In fact, one of the famous person called Al Turing proposal in his white paper, he said that computing machinery and intelligence, in which the question, can machine think, is replaced with the question, can machine do what we are thinking, or what we can think and what we can do, right? So there are a lot of researches happening so that not only mimic the human brains, but also basically a step ahead, and those are researches still ongoing, whether they can basically think over and above the human brains, and they become a strong, basically using that AI, right? The modern day machine learning has two objectives. One is to classify data based on the models which have been developed. The other purpose is to make the predictions for future outcomes based on these models. The hypothetical algorithm specific to classifying the data maybe use computer vision of moles coupled with the supervised learning. So one is using the supervised learning and to train it or to classify, to check how the cancerous moles are there, right? So this is where you can have a supervised learning or machine learning algorithm for stock rate can be done for the future potential prediction. So a lot of basically development is happening where the wealth management companies or the investment companies are trying to basically predict on the stock market which are the shares they need to buy, right? Because based on the past history, past basically profit and loss, what are the trends happening, whether they're going for any capacity increase or the plant increase, whether there is a change in the board of directors, whether any person with notable history is coming and joining the company. So, or basically the trends, the mega trends that is happening in the industry. So, or whether any things that is having changing with the raw material costs or the operation cost right? So that based on that, what will be the future profit, and based on what will be the how the stock market, the pricing is done is basically for your future profit. The multiplier of that will give you the P/E ratio, and based on that, what will be the future price that will happen. So they want to do an analysis, want to predict on that, and based on that, they want to basically help the investor to invest on those stocks, right? And this is a big market. A lot of research is happening, and those who are investing must be aware of this kind of techniques. That basically, when you do a research and to find it out what will be the future profit, how much are you going to gain, and based on that, whether there is a potentiality for the stock market to stock to rise or not. And based on that, you can make an investment into that stock. So any question from you, students? So next is data mining. So students, are you want to continue, or should I go into the next session and explain you data mining? Because data mining is very, very important. Yes, student. Are you there? Should I continue, or I should continue on the next session, data mining? Yes, students. Are you able to hear me? Hello, students.
Students, please
Are you
inform the
listening?
sir.
Yes, are you listening? If you can speak, let me know. You want to have the data mining in this session, or I should continue the next session? Hello, student. Yeah, students, are you there? Are you listening? Tell me, what is data mining? Harilakshmi ma'am, is there any problem with the students of unmuting?
No, sir. There's no problem. Students, please say something. Hanan, Eid Bilal, Adil.
Okay, I'll just continue for the data mining today, and then we'll close our session. I think that they are all maybe busy. Let me just have the data mining. So what is data mining? Data mining is a software that can search through the terabytes of data and provide us valuable insights, right? Patterns, journeys, or relationship in the data in the matter of minutes. Data mining is a type of analytical process that identifies meaningful trends and relationships in the raw data, and this is used to predict future data. Data mining tools comes through large batches of data sets with a broad range of techniques to discover data structures such as anomalies, patterns, journeys, or corrections, right? Or correlations that is there in the data. So that has been existing over maybe number of years, maybe 30 or 40 years, right? And the data mining that has been used are consisting of the three disciplines. One we call is the statistics, the numerical study of the data relationship, artificial intelligence, the extreme like of human-like intelligence that displays by the software or machines, the machine learning, the ability to automatically learn from the data with minimum human assistance. Using these techniques, the data mining helps to provide more insights into the complex structure and unstructured data to provide accurate insights and better predictions of data. Then this can be used by the companies to anticipate and solve problems for the future and make the informed decisions to mitigate the risk and seize the new opportunities to grow. Because if you don't take informed decisions, if you take uninformed decisions, you may make mistake, because data is basically very, very important and critical for any corporates. The steps that are followed for the data mining are outlining of business goals to understand the business objectives thoroughly to allow you to set the most accurate project parameters, which include the time frame, and the scope of data, the primary objective of the program, and the criteria needed to identify projects in question, and the criteria needed to identify its success. Understanding the data sources from which source or system that the data need to be extracted, right? The preparing of the data, this involves the ETL process to extract or transform and load the data. This prepares the data from the various selected sources, then clean if required. Now, cleaning is a very, very important thing. For that, you may have algorithm or logic you can build, because it is basically GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. So if you don't have the proper clean data, what will happen? Whatever the data you migrate, it will be giving you garbage. So it's very, very important, the strategy you're going to take, and basically the method to identify non-required data, recurring data, or repeated data, eliminate those to have the clean data into your system. So what happens? So when you're preparing a data, you have to collect it maybe from multiple sources, then clean it if required using the basis I told you, and of course the logic provided by the users. And next is collate, and after that you have to analyze the data. At this stage, the organized data is fed into the advanced applications defined by machine learning. Algorithm can identify the patterns, which can help to identify the relationship and the patterns, right, that you have already built on this, or you have fit into the system. That can help to take informed decisions and forecast for the future trends. And this application organizes the elements of data known as the data points, right? So it's very, very critical, because until unless you have the proper data, or the data what you require to migrate, or what are the data that is required for your company or corporate, if you don't identify it properly, then basically you will not able to do a proper implementation or use those data properly. And most important, you need to standardize and relocate it or relate this data to one another. So standardization and harmonization data is very, very critical. Then you have to review the results, and if you find it okay, then basically move it. And deployment and the implementation, based on this, you can do deployment or implement of this thing. Right? So just for an example, a company called Groupon, they actually analyze the data at the real time, and which help the organization to identify the emerging trends within their audience segment that could leverage on, because this company is basically based on giving the coupons, so they can identify what are the basically the segment or the customers they're looking for the coupons, and based on that identify those data, and basically they provide the rate of the coupon discounts to those kind of customers, because that is also related to the industry or the companies which going to get benefit, or the revenue can go up and they can maximize the profit, right? So just to read it out in this thing, the PPT. So machine learning and data mining often employ same methods and overlap significantly, but the machine learning focuses on the predictions based on the known properties learned from the training data. Data mining focuses on the discovery of previous unknown properties of data, right? What I explained to you, this is the analysis step for knowledge discovery in databases. In machine learning, performance is usually evaluated with respect to ability to produce the known knowledge, right? While in knowledge discovery and the data mining, KDD, what we call, the key task is to discovery of previous unknown knowledge. Now, with this, let me close the session. If you have got any questions, please let me know. Hello, students. You got any questions? Yes, students. Any questions from you? If you do not have any questions, so thank you. Have a great weekend. And again, next week, we will discuss. Thank you, students. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.